live. Before we get started, I'd like to just remind everybody that we are sponsored by Big Bully Gaming out of California. You can visit them at bigbullygaming.com. Now, I'm super excited today. A friend from south of the border, who shall remain nameless for the obvious reasons, hooked me up with a Grav Feed of X-Men Regenisis from the summer-long OP. Definitely not supposed to be sold outside of stores, but I knew a guy and got lucky. My event is actually tomorrow, so this gives me a little sneak peek at what I want to do, what kind of figures I'm looking for. So as we go through, I think we're going to talk a little about what figures are good for the actual Regenesis event and what figures are good from a competitive perspective and what figures just come in off ID cards mainly, which I imagine is most of it. So without any further chit chat, we'll start cracking some packs. Now I find it funny, but I didn't see an actual cut line down here where you'd normally pop the Grav Feed. So we're just going to go from the top today. After we are done unboxing the Regenesis stuff, we will be doing our June subscriber draw, giving out some good stuff, and tomorrow I will probably announce the July subscriber stuff. So here we go, first pack. Now I'm quite nervous because the set is only one chase per case, and I got a brick, so there's a chance we don't get a case. Our first figure we got Magneto. He's pretty cool looking. I really like the sculpt. Got two translucent orbs in his hand. Really nice paint job on him, considering some of the stuff we've got lately. He has both the X-Men and Brotherhood team abilities. He has 2-point values, 120 and 80. Top dial, we're looking at a 9 movement, running shot, 11 attack, telekinesis, 18 defense with a special defense power, and a 4 damage leadership, so not too bad. His special defense power, which he has for his first 5 clicks, reads: Energy shield, deflection, willpower, barrier as free, but only to generate 1 blocking terrain marker. When moving, opposing characters adjacent to Magneto's barrier marker must roll for breakaway if they don't already need to. Not bad. Not bad at all. You fold the card over to get his improved on the theme team version. And the only thing that's different is his controlling the magnetic fields. On non-theme teams, it's opposing characters within 2 squares in line of fire consider Magneto adjacent for movement purposes. If you're playing him on the Utopia theme, then it's within 4 squares for movement purposes. That could come in handy. His 80-point dial, he's 8 movement sidestep, 10 attack, telekinesis, 18 with the same special defense power, and 3 damage leadership. I personally think 80's better, but you never know. I don't really see him as a call-in compared to some of the other Magnetos, but I guess if you needed TK, you could. But wouldn't be my first choice for a call-in. I don't really see him making competitive either. He seems a little squishy for what I like out of my X-Men figures. Regardless, I think the sculpt is super dope. Second pack, we have a yellow base. What do we got? Ooh, we got Kitty Pryde. Again, another excellent sculpt. She's coming out of her base and has Lockheed on her arm. She is 60 points and 40 points, the X-Men team ability. On her top dial, she has 8 movement with her special power, 11 attack, no attack power, 18 defense with willpower, and 3 damage enhancement. That's alright. Doesn't really turn my crank. At the beginning of the game, if Kitty Pryde is part of the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning... Oh, that's just a replacement trait. Ah, this is what I was looking for. Her second trait. Free. Once per game, generate a Lockheed bystander. Lockheed stats. 5 range, 8 movement, running shot, 10 attack, energy explode, 17 defense, energy shield, 1 damage, tiny. That's a good bystander. Now if you flip her card over, what is different? Oh, free once per game, generate a Lockheed bystander this game. That bystander has autonomous, so does not count towards your action total, which is huge. I played Starro for the November round of WKOs, and autonomous is completely abusable. Completely. So I could see people using multiple of her on the ID call-ins. There's 3 cards you can call her in on: the Kitty Pryde Bounty, the Shadowcat Faculty ID, and the Sprite Student ID. So that's not too bad. Now, her second dial, her 40-point dial, which I can see her being used most at, is 8 movement, 10 attack, no attack power, 17 defense, willpower, 2 damage enhancement, so not crazy good herself, but that Lockheed is where it's at. I see many Lockheeds being dropped in competitive play in the future. I don't really see her on the main force. But as a call-in, definitely a thing. Oh, we got a chase, guys. And I am so pumped. I am over the moon. We have pulled the coveted Psylocke. Probably the best figure in the set. I don't know if it's partially my bias because we haven't really had a Psylocke since I've been playing, but definitely worth it from the competitive perspective. Definitely one of the figures I was after, and I am glad that I spend money on this now. So let's check her out. Thanks, Em. Thanks for watching. If you're up for it, maybe we'll squeeze a game in after the stream. Alright, so now let's get down to it and read some Psylocke. Alright. Her second trait, because her first trait is just the switch thingy, as they all are. Incapacitate. When she uses it and hits, after resolutions, choose a standard attack or defense power. The hit character can use, and that character can't use that power until your next turn. So choose a standard attack or defense power the hit character can use, and that character can't use that power until your next turn. So she shuts off defenses, attack. Most likely you're using defense, though. So, she has 2 point lines, a 90 point line, and a 40 point line. On her 90 point line, she has 9 movement with her special movement power, 11 attack precision strike, 17 defense super senses, 3 damage with a perplex. She has 6 range, dual targets, which is really nice. On her 40 point dial, which is probably what I see her being used at most, the set is just chocked full of excellent 40 point call-ins. Guys like Oz and Gardner, Trader, those are the first 3 that come to mind, are just going to have a field day with these 40 point call-ins. So her 40 point dial, 8 movement with her special movement power, 10 attack precision strike, 17 defense super senses, and 2 damage perplex. Her special movement power is sidestep and stealth. So she is a great call-in. And I can't believe we pulled her. 3rd figure in. So literally the rest of this Grav Feed is gravy. Nothing but gravy. I don't see her main force, but she is definitely probably the best call-in in the set. I almost wish we pulled her a bit later to build some excitement, but let's keep going. Gonna move that back, make some room to display our goods. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna see if I can get us some better lighting. There we go. Gotta work with what I got in a small apartment. Was there really a Psylocke in the Deadpool and X-Force? Was she just terrible? Because I only really play competitive, so I don't really I didn't really pay attention to her if she was. I apologize for my ignorance. Now for the 4th figure, we pulled the common Wolverine, which is an excellent figure for the actual Regenisis event. So far, we've got 2 Utopia, 2 Jean Grey School of Higher Learning, or Wolverine and Cyclops. I would say in the event, Magneto's playable, but not the best option. I think Kitty Pryde could be very playable in the actual Regenisis event. Psylocke is definitely playable in the event, but when we're talking about playing in Regenisis, this Wolverine is where it's at. His healing ability, his stats, indomitable, just very hard to kill. He is 120 or 70 points. He has the X-Men team ability. On his card, not on a theme team, his trait reads Toughness. When Wolverine clears 1 or more action tokens, heal him 1 click. At 120 points, he has 2 stop clicks. At 70 points, he has 1 stop click halfway through the dial. On the stop clicks, he has combat reflexes and super senses. So, pretty nasty beast there. On his 120 point dial, he has a 9 movement charge, 12 attack precision strike, 17 defense super senses, and 3 damage. On his 70 point dial, you're looking at 8 movement charge, 11 attack precision strike, 17 defense super senses, and 3 damage. Now, if you were to play him on the Jean Grey's School for Higher Learning theme team, his trait switches to free heal Wolverine 1 click. So you don't even need to clear tokens to heal him. So I think he's good, both played on theme and off theme. But if you can play him on a Jean Grey team, that's what you go for. He is probably one of the best pieces for the actual event, in my opinion. Four packs in, no doubles. The best chase in the set. Let's keep the luck rolling. Now we have Namor. He popped off his base, so I'm just going to take a minute to reassemble him. He's a rare. He's 100 points or 70 points. He flies, which so far the only other flyer we've seen is Magneto. He does not have Indomitable, so far the only figure we've seen with Indomitable is Wolverine. He has, on his 100-point dial, 9 movement with a special movement power, 11 attack with no attack power, 17 defense with Invincible, which is the first sighting of Invincible, and 3 damage, no damage power. On his 70-point dial, he has the special movement power again with 8 movement, 10 attack, 17 defense, Invincible again, and 3 damage, no damage power. So, his trait, Dolphin symbol, regeneration, but only if Namor occupies water terrain. I don't know how much of that we're going to see in the set. I think Micah Love previewed a map that had a good chunk of it, but I wouldn't bank on having him in the water for his regeneration. And then his movement power is Flurry. When Namor uses charge, you may choose not to have his speed. If you do, he must move in a direct path. Situationally good. I don't mind that. Now, if you're playing him on a Utopia theme, his trait changes to regeneration, but only if Namor... What? Is it the same? Confused. Regeneration, but only if Namor occupies water terrain. Oh, it's his speed power that changes on Namor. It's just charge, but flurry, charge, but do not have his speed. That's the first time we've seen it not be the trait that changed. So, he's not bad. He's not great. I don't know. He's playable for the event anyway. There's no Namor ID card. And there's no... And I don't really see him in competitive. I did forget to mention this Wolverine as a call-in. At 120 points, I don't think he brings enough to the table. He's only a 5 charge, 12 attack, precision strike. At his 70-point dial, same thing, 11 attack, precision strike, 3 damage. He just doesn't do it for me compared to the super rare we have currently. So, I don't know. I rank him pretty low. I probably even put him below the LE that we got in the Deadpool LE kit. But that's just me. Sometimes call-ins can be a little subjective. But speaking of call-ins, I think we just pulled one of the best call-ins in the set, other than Psylocke. We got ourselves a beast. Yeah, you know what, Emily? I would agree with you. He would, after most of these call-ins will probably shine after XSS retires, because we'll still have the bounty IDs and the student IDs from the Blackbird. So that's when a lot of these really come into play. But look at that sculpt. That is an excellent beast sculpt. I think I've seen 2 beast handstands since I started playing. The second last X-Men set, and then this. Always a fan of that pose. He is 70 points and 40 points. So another sweet 40-point call-in. He has a trait saying free. Choose one, Outwit or Battle Fury, and modifies beast combat value by +1. Nice. So Battle Fury and combat values +1. Never hurts to have Outwit, but that +1 to his combat values beefs him quite a bit. And Beast can use the chosen effects until your next turn. So, on his 70-point line, he has 9 movement charge, 10 attack quake, 17 defense super senses, and 3 damage. The only difference to his 40-point line is he has 8 movement instead of 9. So he loses 1 movement for calling him in at 40 points. Oh damn. Which, if you choose Battle Fury, he gains back immediately, so he's the same figure. And then he's sporting an 11 attack, 4 damage Battle Fury. Bye-bye Shape Change. We haven't had a good Shape Change, or a good Battle Fury call-in since Hulk? I think Hulk. From the Mighty Thor. I can't remember if Boxing Soups had Battle Fury or not. I should know this. But, yeah, wow. Now, what is the difference between his two? Choose one, Outwit or Battle Fury. Beast can modify +1 until the end of turn. He gets on his, if you play him on a theme team, he gets choose one, Outwit and Perplex, or the Battle Fury ability. So, if you're playing him on the theme, he gets the Perplex as well. Not too bad. I'd play him in the event. I'm a big fan of super senses, albeit a little squishy sometimes. He has, for 70 points, he's 7 clicks deep. That's nothing to sneeze at. Plus that trait, if you can get him on a theme team. Could be pretty hard to take down. I'd play him. I definitely see him as a frequently used call-in, if not the most used call-in. And I don't think he makes main force at all for competitive play, but someone might try it out. You never know. I've seen some pretty cool innovation over my time playing competitive. So far, we're pulling a pretty even split between the two teams. Makes me nervous tomorrow for trying to get a theme team. We have pulled a Cyclops. I kind of like that sculpt. Actually, to be honest, all the Cyclops sculpts since I've started playing have been really good. He's a character that always gets a good sculpt, fairly good abilities. Nothing really to sneeze at when it comes to Cyclopses. So he is 120 or 70 points. The X-Men team ability. We have our second figure with Indomitable. He has 7 range, a single target. He can shoot well in adjacency. I did forget to mention, the X on his dial just reminded me that the Wolverine can move through hindering. But we're pretty used to that by now. But yeah, so Cyclops can shoot in adjacency. That's pretty nice. Gonna put the 2 leaders up front there. Now, he has a trait that says leadership free. If another friendly character hit an opposing character this turn, heal Cyclops 1. So not quite as good as just clearing tokens to heal Wolverine, but still useful. And he has a special damage power, which is his stop click, stop, energy shield, deflection, and super senses. Alright, not too bad. He has 2 stop clicks, just like Wolverine, in the exact same spots as Wolverine. So they mirror each other quite well. And when you play him on the theme team, his ability changes to free. If another friendly character hit an opposing character this turn, heal Cyclops 2 clicks. So not quite as good as Wolverine's free, but healing 2 is pretty good. Heal up off them stop clicks. Depending on how many figures you have on his team. If you play him at 120, you're probably only fitting 1, but you could get 2 and 70 and heal him for a turn. It's possible, right? I don't really see him. He starts with Psychic Blast, so he doesn't have to be over half map like the super rare, but his stats are pretty comparable to the Xavier School super rare, so I don't know if I'd use him as a call-in. I don't really see him making a splash main force. He's more expensive and doesn't have that headmaster trait, so I don't even think he'd make a good Blackbird pilot, unfortunately. So I'm gonna say he's probably only good for the Regenisis event, but like I always say, I could be wrong. I don't claim to be Nostradamus of the meta. I'm just giving one man's opinion here. Ooh, another figure we haven't seen in quite some time. We pulled a Gambit. The last Gambit I can remember was the old Deadpool set? No, I shouldn't speak on that. Before my time, anyway. But I know he was good. He gets turned objects of 5 points or less into just standard objects, which can be pretty damn good if you ask me. He would definitely drive some people nuts today, changing their 4-point symbiotes or remaker rings into TVs or garbage cans. Could be fun. He is 80 points or 50 points. There is no Gambit ID, so we don't have to worry about that. He has 5 range, dual targets. He can move through hindering. His trait is sidestep and stealth. He has a special attack power. Choose one, energy explosion and force blast, or quake and giant reach 2. Gambit can use the chosen effects this turn. So far the Wolverine team seems quite versatile. On his 80-point dial, he has 9 movement, 10 attack, 17 defense energy shield, 3 damage with perplex, and he has the exact same starting line at 50 points. Not a single thing changes. What changes on his... If you play him on a theme team, he gets just straight up gets energy explosion, force blast, quake, and giant reach 2. So he doesn't have to choose, he just gets it all. That's not too bad. How's it going, Arapella? Thanks for subscribing, buddy. I appreciate it. I will be doing this month's subscriber draws right after if you want to stick around and see if you win anything. Oh, I got ahead of myself. got distracted by that sub. I don't see Gambit making a splash in competitive. He's just a bit too squishy for my liking. Just having energy shields, like, you could get him up to a 20 defense, but he has no actual reducer, so he could get double tapped, or depending on who the opponent is, maybe even single tapped, which is a big no-no for me. But his versatility in the actual Regenisis event could be pretty good. Again, we continue going back and forth, pulling a Utopia and a Jean Grey school. This time, we pulled Storm, and she's sporting quite the sculpt. That's pretty impressive. I'm really liking the sculpts from this set so far. WizKids did a great job. She is 70 points and 50 points. She's flying. She has a 6 range, single target. So not too bad. On her 70 point dial, she has a 10 movement, running shot, 10 attack with a special attack power, 17 defense, energy shield, and 3 damage, no damage power. Her 50 point starting line is exactly the same. That seems to be a theme I'm seeing in this, is there's not much of a stat change in between the two lines, which is kind of weird. I don't know if I'd sink 20 points into 2 extra clicks. Oh, I lied. She has a 9 movement instead of a 10, so 1 movement difference. Her trait, free, choose one. Force Blast or Sidestep. Storm can use the chosen power until the end of your turn. Her her attack power, free. Make a ranged attack targeting a single opposing character that Storm knocked back this turn. That character must still be within range and line of fire. So you could shoot them and knock them back with Force Blast, and then get another free attack on them. Not bad. She's pretty good. I definitely think she's playable in the event. If you need a low point Storm call-in to give you 3 bolts for mind control or something, or even for triple tapping retaliators with Psychic Blast, she could be a good cheap Storm call-in. I personally think I like her better than the one in Xavier's school, but that's just me. If you're playing her on a Utopia themed team, she just straight up gets Force Blast and Sidestep. So, yeah. I don't mind her as a call-in, at least until we get the Storm call-in from Worlds. And, I don't see her making main force, and she's definitely going to be good in the Regenisis event. She might be a little squishy, but she might also be able to put in some work with that free attack. So, I wouldn't underestimate her if you see her across the board from you. Oh, there we go. We're finally seeing some doubles. We pulled our second Magneto. We're probably going to see a few doubles in this set because I believe the collation is 5 rares, 2 sets of the commons and uncommons, and potentially a chase. If no chase, then you get 6 rares, I believe is how it works. Yeah, we are definitely starting to see some doubles now. We got ourselves a second Gambit. Now, part of me was wondering if there's any interest out there for my July subscriber draw, maybe using the doubles I pull from the Regenisis brick as one of the draw prizes. I do have some more sweet action tokens from Big Boy Gaming to give away, but in addition, I was thinking of giving away the doubles from this. They seem to be popular online, so let me know your thoughts, whether you want to drop it in my inbox or whatever. Now we pulled another new figure. We got an Emma Frost. Again, just loving the sculpts in this set. Like, what a cool sculpt. I think it's better than her two Xavier School sculpts for sure. She's 90 points and 60 points. 6 range, single target, X-Men team ability. On her 90-point dial, she has 8 movement sidestep, 11 attack, no attack power, 18 defense, willpower, 3 damage with shape change. On her 60-point dial, she has a 7 movement sidestep, 10 attack, no attack power, 17 defense with willpower, and 3 damage shape change. Her trait, protected, penetrating psychic blast. Cool, I like that. Free, choose one, invulnerability or penetrating psychic blast. Emma Frost can use a chosen power until your next turn. Seeing as she doesn't have a reducer, I don't know how useful I guess because you get invulnerability, that makes sense. I was having a moment there. If you play her on a Utopia theme team, she gets invulnerability, penetrating psychic blast, and protected, penetrating psychic blast. So, not bad. For 90 points, she's 8 clicks deep. That's, if you get the invulnerability, that's pretty damn good. She's probably playable at 90 points. She's got no move and attack though, so yeah, she might be playable in the event, but I guess that's only if you don't pull something with a little more maneuverability. I don't really see her coming in off the Emma Frost ID, and I don't really think she's main force unless you play her. She might be a good call-in for the Hellfire Club if you play her with the Magneto. I don't know. I haven't really looked at the Hellfire Club too much, but it could be a thing since she has the keyword. We're about half done our Regenisis feed. I'm starting to get a good idea of what I'm going to play tomorrow. I don't really know what side I'm going to pick for prizing yet. I'm leaning towards Cyclops because I think he has more meta potential than others, but I'm not 100% yet. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts on that. We pulled another new figure, and again, just an incredible looking sculpt. Iceman is one of those figures that since I started playing has always got just the craziest sculpts. This one's pretty toned down compared to some of the Icemans we've had since I started playing, but I still think it's really cool. He kind of almost looks like the Night King to me from Game of Thrones. He's 80 points and 50 points. X-Men team ability. He flies. He has dual targets and 5 range. Well, some of us don't have 2 locations to play, Emily. You show off. So, Iceman's trait. When Iceman hits one or more opposing characters with a range attack, choose one for all hit characters. Speed -2 or attack -1. Hit characters, modify the chosen combat values until your next turn. He has a special defense power, barrier, toughness, willpower. Whenever Iceman moves, after resolution of each move, you may immediately place a blocking terrain marker in a square he moved through. Remove that marker at the beginning of your next turn, even if this is lost. Interesting. If you play him on the Jean Grey theme team, when Iceman hits one or more opposing characters with a ranged attack, hit characters modify their speed -2 and attack -1 until end of turn, so you don't have to choose. Same defense power. So one thing immediately comes to mind when I look at him is normally you're calling an Iceman to inspire barrier. This Iceman has barrier. So not only can you inspire barrier, but you can use him for barrier, so you can double barrier to protect yourself from those pesky super rare Cyclopses. I don't know if you need more than 8 squares of barrier, but this is a really good option to barrier out those vultures, and I guess Hawkeye's gone now, but would have helped stop him too. Little late. But definitely see him being used as a call-in. I don't see him being used main force, but he's a little squishy at 50 points, I think. He's a little squishy in general, but he could be used to lock your opponents out. I don't know. He might be good for the Regenisis event. One thing I know people will be excited for is he has the champions keyword. And I know it is popular with several people out there. So how many different figures are we looking at now? We got 5. We got 12 figures out of the 20 figures in the set so far. 11 figures. Counting's hard. We got another new figure. We pulled Angel. And he's rocking quite the cool sculpt. He's got some deadly metallic wings. Very, very a la the, what do you call it? Age of Apocalypse movie. He is 70 points and 40 points, so we got another 40-point call in here. That 40-point call in mark is just getting so much love in this set. 70 and 40. He flies, no indomitable. Let's check him out. His special movement power is charge. When Angel uses it, you may choose not to have his speed. If you do, he has passenger 0. Still not bad. Full movement charge. Oh, train going by outside. I'm going to take a sec to shut the window. It's ridiculously hot here, so we take every bit of breeze we can. So yeah, not having his charge if he doesn't carry anybody, that's really good. His special defense power is super senses and willpower. On his 70-point dial, he has 12 movement, so that's a 12 square charge. Damn. 10 attack, 18 defense, 3 damage, no damage power or attack power. On his 40-point dial, he has 10 movement with a special movement power, 10 attack with no attack power, 17 defense with a special defense power, and 3 damage. So unfortunately, that charge do not have speed doesn't really come into play in the call-in aspect because he can't carry the person that called him in. Otherwise, he could charge 12 squares, which would be absolutely loony. Yeah, I don't know. He's a cheap angel call-in. I can't remember the angel inspiration off the top of my head, but maybe it has a use. But, I don't know. I don't really see him as main force at all. He's cheap price point wise for a call-in if you're trying to be economical with your clicks. And he wouldn't be my choice to play in the event, but that's just me. I'd prefer something with a little hypersonic. 12 charge is great, but then you probably don't have anyone around him to help him out. We got another double. It is Cyclops. I'm just going to go ahead and move that now. Ooh. We got a Colossus. This is another cool looking sculpt. And our first Colossus under the 80 point mark. So, can be used to inspire that charge that people have wanted for so long off of the faculty ID that was given out as a con exclusive. Pretty cool sculpt. I like the shiny metallic going on. He's leaping into action. He's 100 points and 70 points. X-Men team ability. Indomitable. He moves through hindering. So far, he's got a lot going for him. Alright, let's take a look at you. His trait, Plasticity. Whenever Colossus is not holding an object and hits an opposing character with a close attack after resolutions, choose one. Attack -1 or defense -1. Hit character modifies the chosen combat value -1 until your next turn. When you play him on the theme team, they modify their attack and defense values -1. And I think this is the first Plasticity character we've seen. At 100 points, he has 8 movement, charge, 10 attack, super strength, 18 defense, invincible, 4 damage, which I believe is our first 4 damage figure. On his 70 point line, he has 8 charge, 10 attack, super strength, 18 invincible, and 3 damage. So he only loses 2 clicks and 1 point of damage for the 30 points. I'd probably play him at 70. I definitely see him being good for the Regenisis event. Plasticity to tie up, pretty sturdy dial, hits like a truck. Can modify people's stats negatively. Yep, moves through hindering. He's definitely going to be good in the event. He's going to be a good call-in to inspire charge. You could even use his bounty to inspire impervious if you really needed it, a reducer on somebody. But I think giving people like Unimind with the having Star Fox as a blue flame, I see him being useful for that. There's a lot of ways to kill Star Fox these days, but you could even give him Charge Flurry when he's wielding Mjolnir. That's a pretty big swing. I think that's like a 14 to 16 square swing off the top of my head. Like, that's pretty good if you ask me. I don't see him being played main force, but he'll definitely have meta implications. I'm willing to bet. So far we've got a pretty good mix of figures. Slightly more Utopia than we do Jean Grey School. But I'm willing to bet that balances out by the end. We've only seen 3 doubles so far, which isn't bad considering. We pulled a Rogue Rare, which has an ID card to call her in. So let's see if she has any implications. She is 90 points or 60 points. She flies. X-Men team ability. That makes me think. Literally every figure pulled has had the X-Men team ability so far. Which makes sense. It is the X-Men Regenisis event, but you never know. Pretty nice sculpt. Just punch in the air. Doing a little Hadouken for you Street Fighter fans. I like it. I'm personally a pretty big Street Fighter fan. I wish they'd do another Street Fighter set. That was way before my time. Alright, her trait. When Rogue hits a single opposing character with a close attack, after resolutions, you may choose a standard power that character can use. Until you choose again, Rogue can use a chosen power and has the printed range value of the hit character. So she goes from having no range to whatever your opponent has. Not bad. So she could steal their Perplex, Outwit, Prob. That's where I see that coming in handy. Oh, it's until you choose again, so you could even steal someone's Psychic Blast if you really wanted to. Cool. Her special defense powers, invulnerability, and willpower. Now, when you play her on the theme team, Rogue can use the chosen power and has the printed range value of the hit character, and the hit character can't use the chosen power. So, she can take away someone's power when hitting them. Not bad. Could have, as a 60-point call-in, could have some meta implications. On her 90-point dial, she has 10 movement, charge, 11 attack, quake, 17 defense with that special defense power, and 4 damage, so another 4 damage. So that's her and Colossus so far with that. Did I say Hadouken? If so, I'm an idiot. I totally meant Shoryuken. Thank you for correcting me. That's embarrassing. On her 60-point dial, she has 9 movement, charge, 11 attack, quake, 17 defense with the special defense power, and 3 damage. Again, I'm not really seeing anything main force there. As a call-in, she's probably usable. Shutting off powers is never a bad thing. And, she's alright for the event. I don't know if she'd be my top pick, but she's definitely not terrible. Shutting off powers can always come in handy. We have 7 packs left. Feels like I've been talking to you guys forever. We have pulled another Wolverine, which I'm not going to lie, if I pull 2 Wolverines tomorrow at the event, probably won't happen, but I would certainly be happy. I think if you pull 2 Wolverines in the Regenisis event, you probably just win. But I could be wrong. I went and picked myself up this Grav Feed because I thought it'd be a fun unboxing to do with you guys. And because traditionally my sealed pulls are terrible. I'm not a big fan of sealed for that reason. I can't recount one sealed event where I was really happy with the stuff I pulled. I know for the Black Panther pre-release, I just pulled hot garbage. I was playing with like commons and uncommons, and I think like Rare Falcon. Still managed to pull second, but it's not a fun time, that's for sure. Now, Regenisis is legal as of August 7th, which means it will not be usable for Canadian nationals. Not that I'll be going, but for all our friends going, it should be noted that it will not be legal. The month 1 and month 2 prizes. Month 1 prizes become legal on the same date, August 7th. Month 2 prizes become legal September 7th, which is important to note that that is the Saturday of Worlds, which will probably be the first day of singles. So that'll be the Swiss and maybe some Top Cut. So the month 2 prizes will be legal for then. Everything else will already be legal for a month. So we will probably be seeing Regenisis making a bit of a splash, I would predict. More call-ins for people, never hurt. Speaking of call-ins, I just pulled my second Kitty Pryde to call in, which you will hear no complaints there. We have 3 boosters left, and then we will do our subscriber draw. We got our second beast to call in, which there's a student and a headmaster, so I can't complain there. We have our third Gambit, which makes me a little sad. But you know what? There's a lot of new players in my area, so I'll probably just give this to somebody. Help promote the game. I do like to do that with a lot of my spares. And our last pack, will we get something new? We will. I'm really glad we get to see her. In our last pack, we pulled Hope Summers. Another awesome sculpt. I like the energy fists going on. Fighting pose. She is 70 points and 40 points. There is no ID card for Hope Summers, unless I'm horribly mistaken. She is not indomitable. She has 5 range. Like everyone else, she has the X-Men TA. So we pulled the exact same amount of Cyclops and Wolverine figures. I assume that's how collation for everything will be. I thought that was important to note. Alright, Hope Summers. Her trait. Free. Choose an adjacent character if the chosen character is Free. Choose an adjacent character. If the chosen character is adjacent, that wording doesn't make sense to me. Until your next turn, Hope Summers can use standard powers that character can use. Her powers can change if the chosen character's dial is clicked. Cool. The wording on that is totally confusing. I read her Utopia side first for some reason. It's getting late. And then her regular trait. Free. Choose an adjacent character. If the chosen character is adjacent, until your next turn, Hope Summers can use the standard attack and damage powers that character can use. So if you play her on the theme team, she gets all powers. If she's not on a theme team, she just gets attack and damage powers. Her powers can change if the chosen character's dial is clicked. She has, on her 70-point dial, 8 movement charge, 11 attack precision strike, 18 defense super senses, 3 damage perplex. On her 40-point dial, she has 7 movement charge, 10 attack precision strike, 17 defense super senses, and 3 damage perplex. So she's not bad. I'd play her at both dials for the event. 70 points, she's probably really good. Like I said, I'm a sucker for super senses, even though it's unreliable. Perplex and sealed is always good. 11 attack precision strike in a set with this much super senses is also good. Stealing powers never hurts. So, all in all, conclusions. If you pull Wolverine, you're probably winning. There's a ton of great call-ins in this set, specifically for the 40-point level. I haven't seen anything that strikes me for main force, but this really fills out a lot of teams as far as utility goes. And other than that, there's a ton of stuff to mix and match for the Regenisis event, so I can't see you having a bad day no matter what you pull. So just go out there and have fun with it. Like, the prizes aren't that crazy. Like, I don't feel like you're playing for like Tri-Sentinels or something like that like we have in the past. So this really just seems like more of a fun event for me, so I wouldn't take it too seriously. But, yeah, in conclusions, hell yeah, we pulled Psylocke. That's the important thing, right? Now, guys, give me a second, and I'm going to switch over the screen to our subscriber draws, and we'll hand out some sweet prizes. It's going to go black for a minute. There we go. Not to toot my own horn, but I am getting much better at that. Much better. I remember the first time I tried to do that for you guys, and it took me like, I don't know how long to hook it up. So let's start spinning for some prizes. Before we start, I just want to thank everybody for their continued support. I really appreciate it. By no means do I do this for the money. I just do it for the love of the game. But every little bit helps, and I put it directly back into the stream so I can do stuff like this for you guys. So, without further ado, let's start rewarding people. We are going to spin for the Captain America Hydra action tokens from Big Bully Gaming first. So let's give it a spin. Our winner is Luke Tokarik. So congratulations, Luke. I will be getting those to you shortly. Our second prize will be the super rare Lockjaw from Illuminati Black Panther. Or Black Panther Illuminati, rather. Nothing like saying it backwards. So let's spin it up. As always, people have multiple chances to win. Aeropella, there you go. You have won yourself a super rare Lockjaw. Drop me a message on Facebook and give me your address, and I'll make sure to get that in the mail for you shortly. And last, but certainly not least, we have a set of bystanders for the figures in Black Panther and the Illuminati. It comes with 3 ancient warlords, a living hare, an artificial being, a red wing, and 2 war rhinos. So let's spin it up to see who our lucky winner is. Guy Turnup wins the bystander token. So congrats, Guy. You're a longtime supporter of the channel. I really appreciate it, and hope you enjoy your bystander tokens. Now I would like to thank everybody for coming out and enjoying the stream tonight. I had fun unboxing this super fun set. Good luck to everyone playing in the X-Men Regenisis events, and I will jump on shortly to update you guys on how I'm doing in it. One last note, I will be starting a new series coming up this next week, which I will be titling Road to Memphis. I'm going to be having some of the best and most exciting HeroClix players on my channel to play a practice game and to talk a little bit of the post-rotation worlds meta coming up. So look for that happening in the next little while. Thank you all for joining me, and have a good night.